Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm Great Scott.
Hey, Scott!
And if you're new to the channel, please check out our other videos. But what we do here is free to play only. It's free champions that every player can get. Campaign farmables, daily logins, champions you can buy from the Tag Team Bazaar, the clan shop, and also we use most rares. We try not to use too many void rares because they're not accessible to everyone, but we only use champions that everyone can get. We don't pull legendary shards and keep those champions or even epics. If you don't get them for free, if everybody doesn't have access to them, then we don't use them. So today in the video, we're going to do a shard pull. I'm so excited because I've been saving up for a while for this, and Clan vs. Clan just started. So I've got a bunch of ancient shards, and as you know, if you've been watching this channel long enough, rares are fair game, and I love all rares. So I feel like this is a chance for me to get a whole bunch of rares to start booking up some of my champions. I'm so excited. I've also got 20 voids. Hopefully that'll throw some legendary voids in there or something, or even some high epic voids so I can get a lot of points for my CVC. I've got 3 Primal Shards. They never really turn out to be anything. And then I've got 4 Sacreds. And I'm going to pull all of them. Hopefully I get lots and lots of points for my clan. Usually what I do is I start with the Sacreds because those are the most exciting and work my way down to the Ancients. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to see which champions I actually need and which ones I want. Whoever I'm missing, things like that. So in the index, first, Banner Lords, the champions that I actually want are all down here. I've got all the rares. I don't need any of these, including the void rares. Don't need them. Any extras are just going to go to book up the ones that I already have. And High Elves, I've got all of these. I don't need any extras. Any ones I get are just going to use as books. Sacred Order, same thing, except for Draconis. I want Draconis because he puts on a lot of shields and a lot of heals. He heals somebody. He shields all allies, 15% of his max HP. And he attacks an enemy, removes all debuffs from the ally with the lowest HP, then heals him of the damage inflicted. He's hit point based. The fact that he can do shields every 3 turns on all allies means he'd be actually really good for Scarab. And that's one place that I'd like to use him, because always having shields up is a good thing. But he's the only one I'm missing from Sacred Order. For the Barbarians, I don't think I'm missing anybody in the Barbarians. Oh, I'm missing Scrapper. He's another one that would be great for Scarab King, because he shields himself on his A1. He destroys the target's max HP, which is great for Scarab. I think he's just a Scarab specialist, honestly. He's good in that content. Yeah, he increases his damage as the Scarab's health gets destroyed, so I think it's actually a really good choice there. Who else am I missing? Ogryns. Got all the Ogryns. Happy, even the Voids. Happy about that. Lizards. Got all... Oh, I'm sorry, Skinwalkers. How'd I get in the Skinwalkers? I read the wrong one. Got all the Skinwalkers. I think I didn't do the Lizards. Yep, got all the Lizards. Don't need any there. Like I said, any dupes are going to just go into books and make sure I've got enough skills. Got all my Orcs. However, when it comes to Orcs, I did something really stupid, guys. Really stupid. Shaman. You get Shaman after logging in for like 14 days or something stupid like that. She was kind of useless to me back in the day, and I was so excited to get, my first level 60. I fed her. I used her as food. Not realizing that there's no other revivers in the Orc faction on the rare level. I don't know what I was going to do when it came to passing the Orc Crypts. So even though Shaman is a free champion, everybody gets her after like 7 or 14 days or whatever. She's one of those login champions when you first start the game. It's no special promo code or anything like that. She just is given to everybody. It's a lot like Jizzo is just given to everybody. So I I thought about it, looked at her kit, realized, you know what, she's not that great of a reviver. She's not really even that great of removing buffs. I mean, she's a 35% chance on one enemy. Who cares? And then, of course, you've got this increased crit rate of 15% on all allies for 2 turns out of 3 turns. That's pretty usable, but that's all she brings to the table. The revive. Oh my god, the revive. Only reviver that I have for free available to me in the Orcs, and I fed her. So if I pull a Shaman, I'll be super happy today, because she's a free champion that everybody gets and everybody can use. Who else we got here? Demon Spawns. I think I'm doing pretty well here. Got all the Demon Spawns, including Fellhound. Undeads. Don't have Seducer. Now, I don't care about Bloat Wraith. Don't care about him. He's not a very good champion at all. But Seducer, on the other hand, goes with my Temptress. And so those two going together, considering I'm missing him, I would like to complete the set of Temptress and Seducer. Temptress, when Seducer's on the team, she increases her attack and increases her crit rate. When he's on the team, she gets another turn. So she puts that on, and then she can go right into stealing a buff or right into adding leech. So I like that for her. And for him, he's actually a great champion overall because when she's on the team, he can place ally protection on everybody and block damage on himself. So he's absorbing 50% of all the damage your allies are taking, but he's not actually taking any damage himself. So he's great for that. I want him on the team. He can increase defense, block buffs on all allies. That's great. He can do an AoE, which decreases attack on everybody, and he also has a chance to play sleep. It's a 45%, so I don't know if I'm going to use him in Sand Devil's Necropolis or not, but I'd like to get me a Seducer eventually. I'm going to have to get him from pulling my 20 voids. Who else? Dark Elves. Am I missing anybody? Eviscerator. I love Eviscerator. She is so much fun, especially in the arena, and that's where I would build her. She has this passive that whenever the other team decides to put a buff or a heal on them, she automatically comes in with her A1. Now, her A1 has extra chance of critical hit, 50% chance of placing poison. We don't care, but she attacks 2 times, so if you give her full crit and huge crit damage, she's going to just blast everybody, including if even if you put masteries on her, and then if you put savage gear on her, man, she's just gonna down anybody who puts a buff on or anybody who heals. She's just gonna roast them, and I love her for that. She also has a chance of putting the weak version of decreased defense on all enemies for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. 75% chance, pretty good. I don't mind. I want her. I think she's gonna be fantastic. She also increases the crit rate in arena, but I think I'd rather have like an increased damage or increased speed for the arena. But I'm missing Eviscerator. I really want her. Who else we got here? Knights Revenants. Not missing anybody there. Any dupes will just go to books. Oops, accidental. Let's go to dwarves. Got all my dwarves, including the voids. Shadowkin. Alright, so in Shadowkin, they haven't added anybody else, and I've always had everybody. There's only 1 void in Shadowkin, so I'm pretty happy. Sylvans, they added a couple Sylvan Watchers. I want Flannan. I don't care about the other person. He does a pretty good job of, turn meter and stun. He does a good job of decreasing speed. He does a good job of increasing accuracy on all allies. I like him. I think he's going to be useful in this faction crypt. I do not care about Colwyn. She is not very good. She increases accuracy on herself. She has a chance. It's only like 50% of stunning on one enemy. She's got an AoE, and she increases defense, small version, on all your allies for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. She's nothing to write home about. I don't like her very much. She's not going to make my final team when it comes to the Sylvan Watchers, and I've already got a part 1 of that Faction Wars out, and I'm working on my part 2 because I'm actually advancing quite a bit into that faction. When a lot of people are struggling through it because there's not a lot of quality free champions that you get from Sylvan Watchers. So I'll show you how to do that in part 2. Stay tuned. But today is about a shard pull, and those are the champions I hope to get. I want a Draconis, a Scrapper, a Shaman, which is an epic. I want an Eviscerator, and I want the Bowsmith Flannan. Alright, without further ado, let's go in reverse order. Let's pull our rares. And when we're going to pick who we want, I don't think I have... is this an Underpriest Brogni? I don't know. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. But hopefully I get him. He's going in the vault, but I'd like any legendary champion. So let's pull 10 at a time. Make it go by quick. It'll be a short video today. Alright, bunch of rares, couple epics. 3 epics on this one. Hey, got 10,000 points for my clan. I think I have all of these Except for maybe the Miss Strider, I may not have had this one, but all the rest of them I have. No big awesome champions here. They're all just going to food, and the epics are going to go in the vault. None of them are free epics, so I can't use them. Next set of 10. Got some good quality here. I got a Stagnite. Already have a Stagnite. Got 5,000 more points for my clan. All of these are going to be books. They're going to go right into the ones I already have. In fact, I got 2 Crimson Slayers on that pull. That's great. They could just feed those right in. Here's 30. I got nothing but rares on this one. That's okay. I got 1,500 points for my clan. A lot of good champions in here. Double Aethel, that's actually nice. Lone Blade Riob, I like him for my faction wars. Myrmidon's okay. Yeah, we'll keep moving. Well, I got another 2,300. Sandlashed Survivor. I think I already had this one. There is really nothing good here. I do appreciate Runic Warder because I think he's going to make my endgame dwarf team. Everybody else is just blah. Let's try it again. Hopefully we can get some good stuff. Keep your fingers crossed. A couple of epics. Another 9,000, so one of these epics I didn't have. I'm not sure which one it was. But that's a good pull for epics. Got some good points out of it. I like Life Taker. I'm okay with Twin Claw. They're both in the Shadowkins. I've got plenty of Corpulent Cadavers. Mystic Hand is actually a great one. If you haven't seen me do anything with Mystic Hand, I think he's pretty good. He's got a chance of blocking buffs for 2 turns. He steals 2 random buffs from the target. So this is awesome, especially in like the Magic Keep, because he's Force Affinity. So stealing 2 buffs, it's not a chance to steal. He just steals them. So that's why I like him on that. He also heals the ally with the lowest hit points and then equalizes the hit points of all allies. I haven't had a chance to play around with this much. I mean, I would love it if he just brought everybody up to the highest ally, but equaling means some of them are going to go down and some of them are going to go up, so I don't know how I feel about that. He's great for this A2. He throws some hit points in dungeons by 25%, but that's not that big of a deal. I've already got a Muck Stalker, Conqueror's campaign farmable. Let's just move on. Give me a legendary. I need the points. Alright, so I got a Juliana. I think a lot of people can get Juliana with a promo code. So just by putting in that promo code when you first start the game, you can get a free Juliana. I see her a lot in the arena. She's a good champion. Got a Wretch, Frozen Banshee. She's already been leveled up. I don't know if I want to go with 2 Frozen Banshees. Probably not. Even though I've got another one at like 40 or 50 ready to go, I might feed. Yeah, there's not really anything else here. Was that all? I only have 3 left. Gosh, didn't really get a lot of points on that Ancient Shard pull. Ordinator, not a huge fan of the bombs. He just puts some bombs on people and then he blows up the bombs. So he's not great. I like Marquez. She's a defense-based nuker. Whenever you have a person with a weaken, she can come and have a second hit, and both of her multipliers are pretty strong. She is a defense-based champion, so she can decrease attack. This is the one everybody uses because it's an AoE, and it places weaken, but hopefully you're not relying on the 35, 45, 50% chance of placing it. The second attack, the first and second attack is really where she gets a lot of her damage from. You could put her in Savage. You can put her in... I forgot that other one that ignores defense. So you can put her in that stuff, and she will just do huge amounts of damage. Even though she's defense based, she's actually got great multipliers. She also has a chance to freeze an enemy if you needed it. It's a 100% chance. So she's probably somebody you might want to consider using for your faction crypts. Already have her, just kind of booking her up with duplicates. And of course, a totem. Totem is not really that useful to me. She's got a continuous heal, small poison, decreased defense on the target on all enemies. It's the small version. She's not really terribly useful. Don't think I'll be using her even in the faction crypts. Well, that was not as exciting as I thought, but hopefully my voids are way more exciting. I don't know who these people are. Let's go for this one. I'm going to do these one at a time because I want to be excited. I want to feel the suspense. I've been saving up for a long time on this. There's a Demitha. Didn't have Demitha before. It gave me 4,000 points. I would love to make a Demitha unkillable team, but she's not available to everybody. So I won't be using her. Unfortunately, I love her. It would be so nice to be using her in Clan Boss. It'd be so nice to be using her everywhere. But I can't use her. Essentially, she places a shield for 2 turns, equal to 10% of her max HP. She increases the duration of all buffs by 1 turn, so if you have somebody who's unkillable, she can increase it. She places a block damage on all allies for a turn and a continuous heal for 2 turns. That's kind of how this Demitha thing works. You put her with a Painkeeper, a couple Painkeepers maybe. You can put her with a Renegade. Whatever the case may be, she's going to block damage on all allies on a 3-turn cooldown. So she's got 2 block damages, like a 2-turn block one turn block damage on a 3-turn cooldown. So when she casts this, she has to extend by 1 turn. Then someone else has to reset her cooldowns, like a Painkeeper or a Renegade, so she can hit this again before it wears off of all of your allies. It's a tough build to do, but she's amazing for that. I wish I could use her. Unfortunately, she's going in the vault. Here's a rare, Steadfast Marshal. He's useless. Don't even bother looking him up. Malebranche. Got a bunch of her. She's not great. Love Centurion. He's actually a good pull because I would really like to max my Centurion. He's just a tank. He's a beast. He heals himself by 15% of the damage inflicted. He heals himself by 30% of his max HP and increases his defense for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. That's a great skill by itself. And I don't know how I feel about this. He exchanges remaining hit points with the target enemy, then he equalizes the hit points of all allies. Well, does that mean some people go up and some people go down when you equalize? Because it doesn't say it equalizes to this champion's hit points or to the highest champion's hit points. It just says equalize. So I've got some experimenting to do with that. However, defense-based champion who increases his own defense and heals himself for 2 out of 3 turns, and with his A1 heals himself again with the damage inflicted, he's a beast. He's a beast. He can solo a lot of content just by himself. I say give him a chance because I really like him, especially in the Knights Revenant faction wars. A lot of rares, a lot of void rares. Fanatic's great. I have Fanatic temporarily on my Shadowkin team. He increases attack on all allies and removes a debuff from each ally. It's a cleanse plus an increased attack. It's pretty good. But if they're booking up those debuffs on you, like if they just crush you with debuffs, his A2 actually has a chance of transferring 2 of them from him to the target. It's a 100% chance, so any debuffs that are on him, 2 of them are going back to whoever you choose to put them on. So sometimes what will happen is the end boss will put debuffs on you. If you build him with enough resistance, he will transfer those debuffs to the boss himself or to the ads, and your life will get so much easier. You don't want him feared. You want him to not have any of that stuff so he can clear the debuffs from each ally, and he can transfer to whatever target you choose to transfer from. He's got a chance of placing decreased defense. It's the big version if the target is under 2 or more debuffs, but you just sent 2 debuffs to your target with an A2. So by the time the A1 comes back around, you probably are going to be landing the big version. He's a great champion. I like him a lot. I'm trying to incorporate him in my Shadowkin team. Plus, he just looks funny. He's just cool with the beard and the eyes and how twitchy his head is when he moves back and forth. I just like him. I don't know why. So, Rock Beast. I've got a bunch of him. I don't care for him. He's got a provoke. He's got increased defense on himself, and he has a chance of placing decreased speed on all enemies for 1 turn. For 1 turn, give me 3 turns. It's a 4-turn cooldown. Give me something to work with here. Rock Beast is not somebody you should pay attention to. He doesn't make the Ogryn team. Kind of a waste. I'm going to feed him to upgrade somebody else. I'm not even going to build one and use him as a book on himself. He's just going away. Tree Shield Knot, one of arguably the best rare reviver. He's got this 2 allies with 25% hit points and 25 turn meter. That's great. 25 hit points plus a shield for 20%. That's like reviving somebody with 45% hit points. So that's great. And a 25% turn meter, meaning they can get back around somewhat quickly after they die. I love it. Then he can turn around and heal them and place increased defense on all allies, so everybody gets healed plus a shield, plus an increased defense. And this one decreases attack. He's got a 3-hitter, which makes him pretty good in a lot of Cursed City content, especially if you put him in a Giant Slayer. So I like him. I like him a lot. Some of those Cursed City places, you have a Fire Knight. The 3-hitter comes in handy because you can revive if the Fire Knight drops them, 2 people at a time with a shield, and you can heal everybody with an increased defense, and you still have the 3-hitter to start knocking down the Fire Knight's shield. So I like him in Cursed City. He's great for the Watchers faction, the Sylvan Watchers. He's definitely on that team. I think you can use him in a lot of different places. Maybe even use him as a reviver in Hydra. I mean, for your 2nd or your 3rd key. He's definitely somebody to look into for those, because he does have the heal and he does have the revive. Painsmith, good multipliers. He increases his own damage if they don't have any buffs. He can put block debuffs on this champion if it kills somebody, but that doesn't happen very often. He does have a block revive, which is sometimes useful in certain content. It's not that useful anymore. Yeah, he's not really that great. If you want to deal a lot of damage, he's okay for that. But other than that, I'd probably pass. I'm going to keep a Painsmith around. I'm going to feed him into my existing Painsmith as a book, but I'm not too excited about that one. Come on, give me some good people. Cagebound. Cagebound's awesome. He puts Ally Protect 25%, and that's good because if it was 50%, he might get smoked real fast. He also continuously heals himself for a turn. Big version, so he's protecting your allies, and he's healing him when his turn comes back around. He's pretty good. I definitely put him on the Lizardman Shadow Wars team because he does have that protection and the heal. He's got an AoE that decreases the attack for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, and he also has the ability to put a shield on himself equal to 10% of his max HP, which makes him okay in Scarab as well, because the Scarab's going to attack you twice if you don't have a shield on. So I like him for that. He's a good champion, but I already have one, and I'm just going to feed him in to book him up. Alright, Dagger. Already have a Dagger. Dagger's great. I don't use her very much. I probably should think about using her. I've got her built up to like maybe 50, but I don't think I've even got equipment on her yet. She's got a double hitter on her A1, and decreases the turn meter by 4% times 2, so that's an 8%. It's not great. It's probably okay for Fire Knight if his shield's already down, because it's a 2-hitter. She's got an AoE that puts decreased defense on, 75% chance, 80 with the mastery. It's okay. It's 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. It's not as good as War Maiden, but it's something. And then she has a 50%, 75% chance, 80 when you use the mastery of placing decreased attack for 2 turns. Big version if they're already under the decreased defense. So in this case, you want to use your decreased defense first, then use your A3 to get the big version of decreased attack. She's good. She used to be awesome, but I mean, there's so many other choices that can decrease defense nowadays that she's kind of fallen by the wayside. She's not super special anymore. Wow, another cage bound. We already went over him. Love him. He's going to feed in. Come on, give me a Lego. Doom Screech. Love Doom Screech. Already got one of him. So he has a chance of placing 50% decrease accuracy on an enemy. It's a 35, 40, 45% if you get the masteries. But this is why people use him. For his A2, he fills the turn meter by 30%. That is a huge turn meter fill. And he places increased defense, big version on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So he's actually somebody I'm considering putting on my Undead Hordes team because he is so strong. He does have an AoE where he puts a shield on himself equal to 30% of his max HP. That's great. I mean, I love that. So he's protecting himself, he's speeding up your team, he's increasing defense on everybody, and he has a chance of decreasing the accuracy on an enemy. So he's good pretty much all around. I like him for my team. I think he's like good for a secondary or even a third tag team if you want to build it all out of defensive nukers. He'd be great because he can make sure you're going first, and he can increase defense right before they go on the same skill. So you don't have to have a speed lead and an increased defense person before your defensive nuker goes. He can do it all in one skill. So I think he's actually good for a second or a third tag team arena. But, I mean, I've already got one of him, and yeah, he's okay. He's good. I'm not going to say he's not good, but I was hoping for some better... I only have 8 left. I was hoping for some better pulls here. I want more points for my clan versus clan. Yes! Scrapper! Finally! He was one I can check off my list. That was definitely one I was hoping to get. Like we talked about before, he's got those shields. He's going to be great for the Scarab. I am so happy we finally got a Scrapper, guys. So happy. Ashwalker, don't like him. He's not a very good champion. I've seen some people on videos that say, "Oh, he's amazing." He's not amazing. Do not invest in this champion. He's not worth anything. He resets the cooldown of his A2 if he kills an enemy, but he's not really got that big of multipliers. He's not really killing anybody. On his A2, he's got a chance of placing a stun, like an 80% chance on one enemy. Well, that's great. And he's going to decrease the turn meters of all enemies by 10% if it's critical. That's only 10%. That, I mean, if you're that close where 10% makes the difference between you winning and losing, he's not your man. Trust me. This is not 10% is not that big of a deal. You'd be better off with a Diabolist who increases and decreases turn meters, who increases your speed and decreases turn meters. I mean, you'd be better off with there's so many other people that increase and decrease turn meters. Executioner's one of them, I think. I'm just trying to think of some other people who can increase and decrease turn meters. I think Executioner does it by 30%. Diabolist might do it by 15%. Across the board, and they bring other stuff to the table. He just doesn't bring anything, It's just, don't invest in Ashwalker. Another Tree Shield. Not that I'm complaining, but I'd like to get some champions I don't already have multiple copies of, So, Michaelis is a good champion, and I'm likely going to keep him in my Ogryn's Tribes Faction Wars team. So he heals the champion by 30% of the damage inflicted, so he's got like this cool self-heal, and he also heals one of his teammates by 10% of their max HP. So he can heal himself when he attacks, and he can heal somebody else. That's actually great for an A1. I love that on an A1. On his A2, he puts a shield on himself for 20% of his max HP, and then puts Ally Protect on all allies, so he can absorb some of their damage, but he shields himself before he does that. So he's he's likely to survive because of that huge shield he just put on himself. And he also heals all allies by 10% of their max HP. So on his A1, he's healing himself for 30 and another ally for 10. On his A2, he's shielding himself for 20, protecting everybody for 25%, and healing everybody for 10%. And then he decreases the damage all allies receive by 5, and he's going to take that instead. So I'll tell you, he's actually pretty awesome when it comes to supporting the team. From a healing standpoint and from a protection standpoint, your team's going to be able to take a lot of hits with Michaelis there. He also increases defense by 21. I don't know if that's necessarily one of the best auras that we've got from the Ogryns, but it's good. And I'm thinking about incorporating Michaelis in my Ogryn Tribes team for sure. Daywalker, he's okay. He's got an ally protect and a block debuffs. Removes all debuffs from himself. That's okay. He revives and he attacks. It can't be critical. It's okay. He's not great, but I mean he's serviceable. And if you don't have anybody in the Knights Revenants and you actually pull him, he's good for adding some protection to your team. It's a 3-turn cooldown, so he blocks damage for 2 turns. That's pretty good. His base speed is low, so he's not fantastic there. Yeah, I don't see too many uses for him, so I'm probably not going to use him. Another Renegade. I already got a Renegade. She's known because she can decrease the cooldown of your skills by 2 turns. This is great when we just talked about the Demytha team. Getting those cooldowns reset so she can cast it again as soon as she's ready. So you can always keep that unkillable up or block damage up. It's definitely useful, definitely worthwhile. She's got a 3-hitter on her A2, which can place a decreased speed. She can also decrease accuracy if the target has any buffs. That's great. She also has a 25% chance, book it up to 50, of putting the heal reduction buff. So between the 3-hitter on her A2 and the heal reduction on her A1, she's pretty good at Fire Knight. If you also have other champions who have multiple hitters on their A2s and A3s, she can reset those. I'm thinking probably one of the most effective uses of a Renegade would be if you had, a double or triple Cold Heart for a spider team, and Cold Heart can just use her A3 and deplete turn meter 100% plus the maximum HP damage, reset all those, fire again, and the thing is over. I've seen some very quick spider fights because Renegade was on the team. But I've already got one of her, so this will be feeding into the Renegade I already have. Rock Beast, another useless. Like, he's useless. Another Rock Beast. I don't want a Rock Beast. I didn't want the first one. Bloat Wraith. I did not have Bloat Wraith, but he's kind of a useless champion also. His A1 gives you a very small chance of stun. You can't even book it up. It goes up by 5% for each debuff on the target. Well, how many debuffs are you going to have on the target? 2? So you're going to go from 15% to 25%? That's not great. Unless you've got 9 debuffs on the target, he's still not going to be landing that stun with any reliability. He's got an AoE, and he has a chance, I think it's booked up to 100% of decreased defense for 2 turns. He's also got a very small chance, booked up to 40% of placing a fear if they're already under decreased defense. I don't really see that happening too often. He heals himself by 15% of his max HP every time this champion or an ally kills an enemy. Well, that usually happens near the end of the round. So, maybe he'll stay alive at the very end. But, yeah, I'm not impressed. I went through 20 voids and didn't get any void legendaries. I'm pretty sad about that. However, guess what? It's Primal Shard time. Let's see who we can pull from this. Well, I did not get my Underpriest. I think that's him. If it's not, it's okay. Correct me. I'm not really good at faces of legendaries. Let's try 3 of these and see if I can get something, anything, to give me some points for my clan. Wow, a Bombardier. Another useless. I was not really expecting anything from primals. They usually give you crap anyway. He's got a 5, 10, 15% chance of increasing duration of debuffs by 1 turn on 1 enemy. That's a terrible A1. He's got a 30% increased speed on himself for 2 turns if it's critical. Well, fantastic. He attacks one enemy 3 times. He's got a 50% chance of placing the worst poison in the game for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. I mean, it's 75% for the weak version, but you can just get a artifact set to give you that every time he attacks. It's no thanks. Give me something good. At least it's an epic. Captain Tamila. I don't have her, so I mean, I don't know anything about her. We don't use her because she's not free to everybody, but let's take a look anyway. She's got a 50% chance of placing continuous heal on herself if the hit is critical. Okay, she put her 100% crit. Every other time, she's going to be throwing a continuous heal on herself. That's nice. She heals herself by 15% of her max HP and places an increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. Okay, that's pretty good. What's different here when you ascend it? So heals this champion by 15% of their max HP. Oh, heals all allies. Okay, so if you ascend it, she heals everybody, which is great because an AoE heal is good on a 3-turn cooldown. That's good. I like that. So increased defense and AoE heal. Ally protect for 2 turns. That's good on a 4-turn cooldown. Wish it was 3 turns, but you know we're not using her anyway, so we don't care. Resistance and faction crypts by 45. She's a great champion. I'm glad I got the clan points, but I really need like a legendary or 2 in order for me to get the points my clan needs. The one that I didn't want. Of the Sylvan Watchers, I wanted Bowsmith. I did not want Tribuck. She's useless to me. I'm just going to put her in the vault. Not even going to bother using her. We went over her kit already. Alright, Sacreds. Still don't have my Under Priest, so here we go. At least it's an epic. Cagebreaker, 4,000. Okay, I'm not going to use him because he's not available to everybody. He's not a free champ, but he has a 55% chance of putting a decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Okay, it's a big version. He's got 4 random hits. He's got a 50% chance when booked of placing sleep for a turn. That's fine unless he turns around and hits the same target again and wakes him back up. He's got an AoE attack, destroys each target's max HP by 50% of the damage inflicted. He grants an extra turn if it kills an enemy. That could be pretty good, especially if it's got a good multiplier, but like I said, he's not a free champion, so we can't really use him. He's going in the vault. Give me a Lego. Well, another epic, that's okay. Lysina. I think I already pulled one of these already when I was doing my rare shards. My ancient shards. Stealing a buff. Block buffs, block debuffs. That's good. Shield on all allies. Strengthen on all allies. That's actually really good A3 for protection purposes. A shield and a strengthen. Reminds me of like a Mithrala-esque ability. Pretty good stuff. Come on, Lego. Let's get a legendary, huh? Eothar, he's new to me. I haven't had one of him before, so I got 4,000 points. 2-hitter. Wow, really low, 25% chance of stealing a buff. He's got a 4-hitter on the A2. Each hit places a poison for 2 turns. I like that. That's a really good one. On a 3-turn cooldown, he attacks 4 times. That seems like a really good maybe clan boss type of attack. Block active skills for 2 turns. I don't think that works on any bosses, like clan bosses. Ally attack in battles by 21. He's just okay. Come on, last Sacred, last Shard. Let's see what we can do. No Legos today. I don't know about this guy. I've got him before, but I don't know what he does. Chance of place and provoke. It's like a 35% chance. He's got an AoE, chance of place and weaken, 100% chance for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, probably good for clan boss. 60% increased defense on all allies, fill the turn meters by 20% on a 4-turn cooldown. That's actually good. Increased defense is always good. His passive places strengthen on himself whenever his hit point drops below 50. That'll help keep him alive, but he's not a free champion, so we're not going to use him. One other thing up my sleeve, I'm not going to pull any mystery shards because, that's not very exciting for anybody watching. What I will do, though, is I have a fragment summon that has been waiting for me, Scion. Now, let's see what Scion does. We're going to go ahead and summon him, get a few thousand more points. I was hoping for a lot more this time. So, Scion, first attack has a 20% chance of block active skills for 1 turn. It turns into a 30, 35 with masteries. A2, single enemy blocks buffs. Got a heal reduction for 2 turns. It's an ignore shield buffs, but it's just okay. 3-turn cooldown. Removes all debuffs from himself, then attacks all enemies. Places an increased attack and increased crit damage on himself for 1 turn after attacking. Not great. He's just not a super champion. Enemies that are block active skills, block buff, and heal reduction cannot decrease his turn meter. Well, I would highly doubt they're going to be able to decrease his turn meter if you've already blocked their active skills. And increases crit rate in dungeon by 24%. It's like, he's kind of like, I'm not going to say worthless, but he's not a great champion. I don't think I'm going to be using him anywhere. I cannot wait 2 more days. I just need 2 more days until I can pull Ryan the Conjurer. Is the clan still going to be going in 2 days? 1 day and 23 hours? I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. It's going to be really close to be able to pull him right there at the end. So how many points did I get? I pulled 62,000 points with all those shards. That is abysmal. I've pulled so many shards and got so little points. I'm really sad about that. We've already got all of our clan points. It looks like we're on our way. We're at 300,000, and it's just opened, like an hour. Personal rewards. Looks like I'm almost to the end. I need 100,000 to get this stuff because I'm on tier 1. It's only because we lost the last CVC. It happens. We're going to win this one for sure, though, because we're all determined. We've been saving up to do this. I'm just very disappointed that I did not get more clan versus clan points. Did not grab any of the legendaries. This makes me kind of sad. But I'm going to put all these guys away in the vaults. The ones I need to feed, I'll feed. Everything else will give me some more points here and there. But thanks for joining me. If you have any suggestions or questions or any comments or anything, just go ahead and put it in the comment section. I do read those. And until next time, good luck with your shard pulls. Bye-bye.